E aí, pessoal, Project Vigorou aqui, hoje com o Alan, o Head da Niantic, e nós vamos conversar um pouquinho sobre o que está por vir aí nos próximos dias, nos próximos eventos com o Pokémon GO. Nice to meet you again.
Thank you so much.
We saw the lecture you did in the Gamescom about the future that's being building together with the community. And you show some kind of contribution that the player can do as a community player, right? Can you explain a little bit for those is watching us?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just talking about in the keynote about how Pokemon Go is a game that half of the fun happens on the screen, but the other half happens outside.
Yes.
So in a sense, community for us is not something that is added on top of the game, but rather is an integral part of the game, of the product experience. And for us, it's really important to support communities, because in doing so, we are also improving the game for everyone. And there's many ways that we're doing that through our community ambassador program, where we give them, gifts and codes and pocket stops in their parks to make the experience better, but also through partnerships as the one that we announced with the Prefeitura de Rio de Janeiro. And also, how these players are eventually going to become leaders in the industry as well, right? And I know this for a fact, because some of the team members that we are hiring now are players that they have been, community ambassadors, or they have been present at events that we started doing a few years back. So it's all, a great, positive cycle, right, of feedback, and empowering the community also empowers us eventually, because we make them grow, but by making them grow, the communities, they also make us grow. So I think overall it's a great way to think that, Pokemon Go has been a game that has built half at Niantic, but the other half has been the community, and we expect that in the next 10 years, as we're celebrating 10 years now, we're looking that in the 10, 20 years, this will continue to be the case.
That's good because it's a game relationship. And we already did this in the past events. We can show the passion of the Brazilian players. Even we had, unfortunately, the pandemic. After that, everyone wants to be together, and that's a good form to give reward for all the food the player are doing right now.
Yeah, so,
The security question is a problem everywhere. Niantic is searching some kind of way to increase the security in the mobile and in the events they do in person.
yeah, absolutely. Like I said, in Pokemon Go, half of the fun happens on the phone, the other half happens outside, and that means that the real world matters to us a lot more than maybe for other games, because the real world is where our game is being played. So we have been very lucky to find partners that have helped us with this. For example, you remember a couple of years ago, we did a city safari here in Sao Paulo,
Yes.
and we worked very closely with Prefeitura de Sao Paulo, precisely to improve security in the activation areas and get permits and make sure that players had a safe place to play. And we heard really exciting feedback from back then. There were folks who told us hey, I haven't been going to downtown to play or even go since I was in school, because I didn't feel maybe safe going there, taking out my phone. But now I'm feeling like I'm rediscovering my own city. I live in Sao Paulo, but I never go to downtown because, maybe it's not a great place to go playing with your phone and walking. But when we partner with governments and communities, there's also, safety in numbers, right? If
Yes.
there's a lot of
good.
players, it makes it more difficult for, bad actors to appear. So, and we've also seen a lot of examples of, there's this park in Mexico, in Puebla, in the city. That was kind of unsafe, a place where people wouldn't normally go. But when Pokemon Go launched, turned out it was a place where Dratini would spawn a lot. So players organically started to, hey, you live here, me too. Let's go together. Hey, maybe clean this up a little bit. So the park started to take a new life of its own. no one knew even the name of the park, so they called it themselves Parque Paleta as a reference to Pallet Town.
That's great.
So, and to this day, the players are like, let's go to Parque Paleta to play, and it has become a much safer place. And it's that type of stories that are really only possible with a game like Pokemon Go, right?
That's great. We had the partnership with São Paulo Prefeitura de São Paulo. Now, Prefeitura do Rio de Janeiro. We can expect more and more prefeituras or governments helping Niantic to create an ecosystem of events and security. We can expect more of this year or from the year ahead.
Well, absolutely. Well, as I mentioned in the talk, partnerships are really important for us. It's a way that we can work on that second half of making the space around us safe. We have had a lot of success with partnerships with malls, for example. In Sao Paulo,
Yes.
in For City Safari, we partner with SYN Malls to provide, safe spaces as part of the City Safari back then. And it's a win-win, right? Because players, have a place where they can play. There's also air conditioning, so it's also good. The malls themselves, they get more foot traffic, and we can ensure a safe experience for everyone. So we definitely are constantly looking for those type of opportunities, not just in Brazil, Rio, Sao Paulo, but elsewhere in Latin America. We're constantly exploring relationships with governments, with retailers, and who knows, maybe we would love to bring as many events as we can. Of course, we're a small team, and there's limited time, limited resources, but we try our best to be where the players are. So hopefully we'll be able to bring more of these events and these partnerships in the future.
Good. I don't remember if it was last year or even this year. We had a carnival event. Carnival is something is not only from Brazil, but in Brazil it's very important holiday, very important event. We can expect maybe more seasonal or more Brazilian specific events in the Pokemon Go in the next years.
Yeah, that has been a priority of the Latin American team since we started. If you remember, we started with the Dia de Muertos event back in 2020, focused in Mexico. But since then, we've done Carnival, we've done, even in other emerging markets, our team has supported in Festival of Lights in India, Festival of Colors
Yes.
as well. And some of those events have even been global. And this year, we were very happy that the Carnival event, we actually partner very closely with the team of Niantic in Europe, because Carnival is big not just in Brazil but
Yes.
in Europe, in other parts of the Americas. So we were able to create this experience and this event, which we call Carnival of Flamigo, if you remember, and it was a global event because we partnered with a European team, and it was a global event that also had activations, one in Cologne in Germany and one in Rio de Janeiro as well. And so that was a very good collaboration, and hopefully next year we can find more of those type of collaborations, and not just with Carnival, right? Maybe with other festivities. Of course, we would love to do like for every festivity, but it's like events, right?
Yeah.
There are so many places, so many things we can do, but hopefully we will be able to more and more increase the number of events. And in the end, what we want is that players feel that Pokemon Go is local.
Yes.
One thing I always say about Latam is that we tend to embrace things as if they were their own. Like if you think of soccer, football, it's a game that was invented in Europe, but to you and me, it feels like, hey, it's from here because we're passionate.
Exactly.
So I think with Pokemon Go, we want it to be the same, and I think we're lucky that it already is, right? Like people, it's from Japan, but feels like it's from here, and like it has been here forever. So we hope that we can always maintain that level, and not just that, but that I also speak your language, right? It's in Portuguese, it's in social media, it's speaking your own, memes, and so that the whole experience feels like you're playing local.
That's good. You talk about that point about localization. We had announced the next Pokemon generation, we call it here in Brazil, Ventos e Ondas, né? Waves and Winds, they will have a official localization from Brazil. You think that localization can impact somehow the localization that we already had in Pokemon Go? Because we already had the Pokemon moves localized, texts and items. You think that this can impact in somehow, maybe hit localizate everything to be the same pattern?
No, that's a very interesting question, but I cannot speak to Nintendo's plans
Or yes,
to their game, but the Pokemon franchise, I mean, the localization exists because the first Portuguese,
Yes.
Portuguese Brazilian localization was actually for Pokemon Go,
yeah, exactly.
and it's actually more the other way around. Like since that work has already been done for upcoming, it's the same universe in the end, right? So it's similar to how it happened with the Latin American translation. In that case, it was a different flavor of
Yes, yes, yeah.
because in Mexico you used to have the Spanish localization even for Pokemon Go, and a couple of years ago we finally released the Latam translation. But in that case, it was a different flavor of Spanish. In this case, it's the same localization that you already know and love in Pokemon Go. So it's not a matter of replacing it with another. It's more of like expanding the work that has already started in Pokemon Go. So we're really excited to see that efforts like this happening with other pillars of the franchise, because we think that in the end, Pokemon fans, they love every part of Pokemon, right?
Yes.
They don't go around thinking like, oh, I like this, but I like Go, but I don't like the card. It's like they like everything.
They
And
came by Pokemon, not the
exactly.
specific game. Yes.
Yeah, and I think as a franchise, the Pokemon Company has been so great in being welcoming of everyone. If you look at the current campaign that they are having, we're sharing a booth with them in Gamescom, and their campaign is around what's your favorite. And even Pokemon Go is a part of that, because this functionality in Pokemon Go where you can,
Yes.
when you even without creating an account, you can choose your favorite, take a photo, share it on social. It's Pokemon. I think is a franchise that really has a lot of pillars, and it's great when these pillars can work in synergy for the benefit of our players.
For the last Latin America International Championship, we had a Pokemon Go narrated by Brazilians. It was narrated in Portuguese. We can expect more from this for the next editions from.
Yeah, when we think of localization, we don't think about just like translating the strings in the blog. We think about the whole thing. It's about live events. It's about social media. It's about even the broadcast.
The broadcast, yes.
Since 2023, we've made a big effort to all of these tournaments, make sure that we have at least the Pokemon Go tournaments. We have a translation. Yeah, Brazilian casters, Mexican, Latin American casters, because and PvP is really big in Latam. It's because of the competitive nature of the region. The PvP feature in Pokemon Go has like some of the biggest penetration. Mexico and Brazil are always at the top on that. So it's a feature that in Latam is popular, and we know it's popular,
Yes.
and we want to encourage that and support the trainers. We also have very good players, right? We have Rajev here in Brazil, who is one of the best. We have Marco Galde in Argentina. So for us, it's very important that the community can also feel that that's also localized. And we made great efforts partnering with the Pokemon Company International in making sure we have these rebroadcasts of the main channel, but with local casters. And we did that very recently, and we expect to continue because we've seen a great response of that. And also, for new players, when they watch the live stream in English, sometimes they don't understand what's happening. It's
Yes.
maybe difficult to understand. But when you listen in your own language, a lot of things become clear. Like, wow, there's a lot of strategy and a lot of depth, and I didn't know that you could do this. Maybe I will try to play, and that makes the game much more accessible for new players as well.
And with the coming of the Pokemon champions, the competitive, that can impact somehow in the competitive in Pokemon Go?
Well, we have heard that
It's very rarely. We still don't have this championship, but you respect something or not. You are secure the Pokemon Go will stay as us in the competitive.
yeah, I think Pokemon Go has its own competitive the Go Battle League and Go Battle, and I think Champions is more of an evolution of the video game championship. But video game championship has been along for even before Pokemon Go, and even since the Pokemon Home integration with Pokemon Go started, we've gotten a lot of feedback from competitive players in the video game saying like, hey, I'm now using Pokemon from Pokemon Go in my teams because sometimes it's easier in some way to get a shiny from Community
Great.
Day,
That's
or
good. That's good.
so we've seen a lot of opportunities of synergy with that, and even some Pokemon players that become interested in Pokemon Go, or the other way around, they become interested in video game championships. So I think it's a great synergistic collaboration we have there with the Pokemon Company, and I think that with Champions it will only become bigger, and that's because of this ecosystem that Pokemon Go is a part of, right? You can it's connected to home, so you can send your Pokemon from Go to other games, and we expect to continue supporting that, and hopefully, this will bring more opportunity for Latin players to be competitive in any game they want to, whether it's Pokemon Go or others.
Great. Anything you can show or share with us about the roadmap that we will have in Pokemon Go that we have already 10 years? Anything new that we can share with us?
Yeah, well, this is going to be an amazing year. We already announced Go Fest 2026, which is going to be so great. We're going to be releasing Mega Mewtwo, which is Mega Mewtwo
I saw this.
Mega Mewtwo
I
Y,
saw this event.
which is something that fans have been asking for a long time, myself included. We're going to be releasing Serraora as well as part of the event, and a lot of exciting content celebrating 10 years. So I think it's going to be a really, really great birthday party, and I think that have only scratched the surface of all the things that we're going to be doing in this 10th anniversary. So please stay tuned to our social media, because there's a lot of things in the pipeline that I hope that you can look forward to.
Thank you so much, Alan.
Thank you so much.
Obrigado por ter ficado até aqui. Continue com a gente e até mais.